Good morning and welcome to the Friday morning voiceover Q&A. Professor Bill here. Bill DeWeese, professional voiceover talent, voiceover coach, voiceover demo producer. And on Fridays, we do this every weekday morning about 8:30 Central Time. We get on for a few minutes to talk voiceover, share a tip, trick, strategy, something to help you move further down the road toward voiceover success. And on Fridays, traditionally, we have set that aside as Q&A. So if you've got a question on your mind, something, that's just kind of been burning, something you need to know, something you don't understand, a frustration you have, whatever the case may be, make sure you put it in the live stream chat. And by the way, what I'll do is I'll do a little roll call. We'll go through, see who's on the chat. And as I do that, if you have questions, just throw them up there as well. And let me make sure. I'm still, after doing this for all these years, I'm still learning how to press all the right buttons. Now I can see the live chat. There we go. Now we're rocking and rolling. And while you're checking in on the chat and giving me your name, where you're watching or listening from, and if you have a question, again, throw that up there. Just wanted to give you a word of encouragement and say, if you're frustrated this morning in voiceover, join the club. Man, that's what being a business owner is. It's, if it was super easy and it was like falling out of bed in the morning and it was easier than having a job, everybody would be doing it. It's simple, but it's not easier. But the rewards are so much greater. It gives you the flexibility to work when you want, to travel and work, to make way more money than you could as an employee. But if you think that it doesn't come if you think it comes without frustration, then you would be terribly wrong. So, as you hit those road bumps along the way, which we all do, it's part of the growing process. You have to grow into not only a voiceover talent, but if you're self-employed or a business owner, you've got to grow into that. I had to grow into it, and I continually try to grow into it to be better at what I do as a performer, a product producer, but also as a business person, in all aspects of that. It's a constant. Sometimes I think we get the idea that there's this nirvana, if I could just do this, then all of a sudden my life would be instantaneously better. And yes, we make choices so that our lives will become better. Yes, my life is far better, immeasurably better now than it was before I was a voiceover talent. But it wasn't like I decided one day to do this and then it was just like, oh, life became easy. No, it's a whole series of challenges, which is part of the growth process. For me, it's part of the excitement of it. I enjoy the challenge. And if you don't like a challenge, you might want to reconsider, but hang in there, man. Hang in there. That's what it's all about. You're part of a fraternity of people here who understand and who are a part of that. And a part of being here, I think, is just part of being, supporting each other, encouraging each other, and all those things so that we can do the things that we want to do, live our lives the way that we want to live them. And what an awesome thing it is to be able to record voiceovers for a living. It's amazing. I just feel so incredibly fortunate. I'm so grateful every day. Does it mean I'm thrilled every day? No. Does it mean things go smoothly every day? Absolutely not. But man, I'm so excited that I get to do this. It really, truly is amazing. Well, thanks for checking in on the live stream. Let's see what's going on. Oh, can I review the pros, cons of Adobe Audition for PC versus Audition for Mac? I've used both. I used to be a Power Windows user for a few decades, and then I switched over to Mac about 12 years ago. And the reason I switched was not because I liked Mac better, but I was getting into video, doing YouTube stuff, and I thought it would make my life easier on that side. Whether it did or not is debatable. I can't see any difference at all in Adobe Audition for PC versus Mac. I'm not saying there's not. If there are differerences, I've never noticed them. It's, the programs were exactly the same when I used them from one platform to the other. Maybe have they diverged over the years? Are there different feature sets? I doubt it. I'm still pretty sure they're the same. The one thing I will say, this is not Adobe Audition, this is PC versus Mac. One thing I do like about Macs is that Macs generally speaking, play better with other, other equipment. like your audio interface that you use. And I remember having all kinds of issues, with Windows, trying to get the right drivers, making things sync up. You've got this thing working, then you add in this piece of equipment, then it creates this whole chain reaction of weird stuff. Macs, generally speaking, are really good at that kind of stuff. I mean, they truly are plug and play. I have rarely ever had any kind of issue along that line. Hey, Rob, what's going on in sunny San Francisco? I've never been. Would love to do that someday. I was watching something on TV. Oh, I know what it was. I started watching a documentary last night on Joe Montana, the great Hall of Fame quarterback from the San Francisco 49ers. And I saw a shot of him overlooking the bay and the Golden Gate Bridge and thought, wow, that would be a fun place to go at some point. I'm sure it's more fun to live there as well. Ty, what's happening in Warsaw, Indiana? Greg in Nashville, North Carolina. Phil in Tokyo. Never been to Tokyo either. Would love to do that someday. We've got Bob, Magic Bob in Brantford, Ontario. Looking forward to an appointment with Alex on Monday. Alex being my son, who's the audio engineer and works with VoiceOver Talent to get your audio sounding primo, to help you make sure your studio's set up properly and make your product as competitive as possible. You can always reach out to him at Alex, ALEX, @BillDeweese.com. We've got Robert in Alaska. What's up, Robert? Melissa, good morning to you in San Diego, another absolutely beautiful city. Any place that has as much sunshine as San Diego, I'm going to love. Dan, happy Friday to you in Clarkston, Michigan. Now, Michigan may not have as much sunshine as San Diego, and they have the Wolverines, which of course are the mortal enemies of the Ohio State Buckeyes. But aside from that, I'm a big Michigan fan. Actually, I've spent a lot of time up there. It's a beautiful state. And of course, I'm kidding about the Wolverines, kinda. Julie in Hummelstown, Pennsylvania. Bob in Reidsville, North Carolina. David in Nebraska. Good morning, Brian in Maryland. Matt, Central New Jersey. Virginia. Oh, Joe. Okay. In Virginia. Good morning to you. Dave in New York City. Good morning. Jack in Phoenix. Ralph, how you doing? In Fresno. Shannon in Odessa, Texas. Good to have you here. Tyler just submitted a first audition for an audiobook yesterday. Tyler, let us know what happens. Good luck on that. Wish you the best. Hope you get it. Tess, good morning in Tequila, Georgia. JJ, or Jolie, I should say, in Minnesota, trying to finish that book after having COVID. Voice still froggy. Man, hang in there, Jolie. The whole, when your voice, or I'm sorry, your career relies on your voice, and weird stuff like that happens. It's tough. As a matter of fact, I was just on Skype with Mallory, my daughter, before I jumped on here. Mallory's been sick. It's just been going round and round her family and ours. Running fevers, getting sick, whether it's COVID or not, I don't know, but it's some sort of something or other. And her voice, she was concerned about her, sending out stuff today and trying to take her Dayquil and, do the things that she can do. We'll see. She wants me to listen to her audio later and see how it sounds. But it's, you're in good company, Jolie. Hang in there. Steve in Biloxi. Terry, Falston, Maryland. We're all in the same club, but self-confidence and perseverance will get us there. Absolutely. Let's go. Lemuel. I've always been an excellent worker, an incredible work ethic, I thought, but I had always worked for someone else. Self-employment is an entirely different animal. Lemuel, it sure is, and that's another thing I was talking to Mallory about. We were just having this conversation about voiceover, and I'm empathetic and sympathetic toward. I get it, when you're new at this, because I went through the same thing. I totally get it. It calls for a completely different mindset. That's why I said you have to grow into this, because most of us, unless you're born into this and you learn it early on, which I wasn't. My dad was a glass factory worker. My mom was the lunch lady at school. I mean, literally, that's what she did. And, and they worked hard and did a great job of taking care of us and supporting their family. But I didn't grow up in an environment where people were self-employed or had their own business. I wasn't around people like that. It was I was always fascinated by it, but I didn't know that. I wasn't taught that from an early age. It wasn't my experience. I had to learn that. I mean, at 46 years of age, I jumped into that. And it's a challenge, and it's so worth it. But don't think it won't test you, because it will. Bill in Boise, 65 and wonderful. Love that. Marie in Texas. Does dry or having chapstick on the lips help with preventing mouth noise? Not sure if I'm asking the right thing. I get what you're saying. Yeah, we talked about mouth noise recently, and I was saying how I don't touch my lips between sentences or phrases. See, lips open right there. I'm not saying my lips never touch when I talk. I'm saying between sentences. Would having chapstick on them help? Maybe. I don't know. What I say, Marie, is try it out. Report back. Let us know. I don't know. It might. Rusty in the UP of Michigan. Mark in Estes Park, Colorado. Christine in Zurich, Switzerland. Hey, Christine, you might be the first person to check in from Switzerland. Welcome. Good to have you here. Let's see here. Can you talk about doing things out of one's comfort zone? Oh, I mean, that's all this is, especially early on. It's all about doing things out of your comfort zone. I mean, eventually, you'll get comfortable at some things more so than others. All I can tell you is that the nature of this business is doing things out of your comfort zone. So at some point, it's a matter of just, you have to kind of surrender to that whole idea. A lot of people, throughout their life, they'll take substances or other things, or jump out of airplanes, skydive, find other experiences to deal with that kind of thing, to take their mind off the things that really bother them. But the only way through this is through it. I mean, you've got experience. You have to allow yourself to experience it. You have to count on it, plan on it every day. I mean, I still get scripts that challenge me, and that's okay. And sometimes I get a little anxious. Sometimes I walk out of my studio after a session and I'm sweating through my shirt, but that's just part of the gig, and I accept that. So don't try to avoid it. Don't try to figure out a way around it. Don't even try to find a way to cure it. Just, you literally accept it. You accept the anxiety, the frustration, the difficulty, and you embrace it and try to reframe it as a chance to grow, which it certainly is. Let's see. Somebody says they can only see a black screen and can't hear me. Apparently, most of you guys are hearing me, or you wouldn't be commenting. So I'm guessing we're okay here. Everybody likes to cheer for their favorite sports team. Come on, Corey in Wisconsin. Go Badgers, really? An Ohio State fan. Don't offend me like that. You know how easily offended I get. Hey, Tim. Good morning. Asking about the new format for the Voices the new proposal format. Honestly, Tim, I've given it very little thought. I do very few cattle call auditions anymore. I just re-upped my subscription, and I've done a few auditions, and honestly, I don't even have an opinion on it. To me, those kind of things, I don't give much thought. I just, as a matter of fact, as I recall, the last auditions I submitted, much like you, I've always stated my bid is all inclusive. So I've kept it the same myself. You can decide whether that you're okay with that as well. But that's my approach. To me, everything's inclusive. I don't like this breaking down of stuff. I just think it complicates it. I think they're trying to be a little more like Fiverr in that way. Things change, targets move, algorithms change, Scotty, good morning to you. The cool plains of Brookings, South Dakota, dipped into the 30s. Oh, my goodness. I'm so sorry. I hope we can avoid that for a while here in the Chicago area. Rob says, come on out. I'll take you and Vicky flying over the Bay Area, private pilot, small plane tour. Oh, my gosh, Rob, that would be amazing. That would be fantastic. I might take you up on that sometime. When in New York City, a steak dinner on me from the profits I made from your training. Oh, thanks, Dave. That's so nice. Okay, here's what I need to do, right? I need to plan a nationwide tour where I stop in on some of you guys for a visit. We'll do a video and then do a whole thing. It's my 2024 tour. I don't know. I have to think about that one. That's if you've got an interesting experience planned, you want to take me flying out for steak, whatever, let me know. We'll see. We'll see what we can work out. You guys are too nice. Thank you. Good morning to JR in Austin, Texas. TGIF, yes. Wally says, a great morning to grow past who I was yesterday. Thank you for showing us how we can do this in Annapolis. Thanks, Wally. Yes. Carl Lynn says she is on her way from Lake Como, Italy to San Francisco for that airplane ride. Rob. Steve, what's your opinion of the best all for a Mac? GarageBand? No. Yeah, I mean, you can certainly use GarageBand. The thing about GarageBand and like Logic Pro or those are the only two that I know of that are made specifically for Mac, is that they're geared for music, and they're fine, and you can use them for voiceover. A lot of people do, but it's like, imagine having this tool you need, like for instance, you need something to hammer a nail. So instead of get hammer, you get this, 15-in-1 tool. It's got all this other stuff on it that you don't need. It's kind of the same thing when it comes to using like a music-related DAW. And I work with Logic a lot because I play music, record some stuff, and I love Logic, and I know a lot of people use Pro Tools and all that. Again, great DAWs, nothing wrong with them. But for voiceover, personally, my Mac, I still use Adobe Audition, always and forever. It's, because it is engineered around people who use their vocal. It's all about that. Christine arrived this morning, loaded up on coffee. The antidote to jet lag. Yes, Christine, there you go. This morning, my wife made the coffee. Usually, I'm the coffee maker in the morning. I usually get up just a bit before she does. But this morning, she had a little traveling to do. So she was up and made the coffee, and she ground up some beautiful Michigan cherry coffee. What a great way to start the day. I think I could convince her to get up before me every day to do that. I'm not even going to go there. Not even going to try. Hey, Jenny, how you doing? Andrew in Calgary, what's up? Rob says, Carlin, see you soon. Let's see here. Jenny says, I have a question for you. How do you become a voice actor? Well, Jenny, the answer to that question would take far longer than I have right now, but I will say that is why I created this channel. There's over 1,000 videos, all free information you can go through and you can peruse at your leisure. It will outline all kinds of stuff, certainly will point you in the right direction when it comes to how to get into voiceover. And for those of you who have decided that you want to make this your thing, whether that means a part-time side hustle or your full-time job, career, income, I've got links in the description below for my training resources for the deep dive. Hey, Gregory. When an audition has 2 to 7 pages of script, how much should you read for the audition? Thanks for all you do. Well, thanks, Gregory. Well, first of all, I look to see, did the client ask specifically for a certain amount? Like sometimes, I'll see these audiobook auditions where they're not paying much of all, if anything, and they want you to read like an entire chapter or 10 minutes or whatever. I would never do that. If somebody can't figure it out in a couple of minutes, they're never going to figure it out. That's my philosophy, and that's the way I approach it. So with a 2 to 7 page script, something long form, I might do a couple minutes, maybe. If it's something I really want, would be worth it, Otherwise, maybe even shorter. Steve in Minnesota. Jack says, been self-employed for 14 years, but in a labor-intensive business I can't stand. Grateful I can bring my experience into VO and create a business I love. Absolutely. So Jack, you clearly already you've done this for 14 years, being self-employed. You've got the mindset. You understand. It's a different mindset. It's the first thing, when you get into my voiceover blueprint program, it's the first thing you see. My first training is on mindset, because until you get this right, nothing else is going to happen, at least not the way you want it to. and you're going to get frustrated because it's a different beast. It's a better beast. Again, my humble opinion. Again, some people would prefer to be employed, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I love this. I absolutely love it. But once you get this right, you can figure out the rest. Claire says, I use chapstick and also olive oil. It helps for mouth noise for me. Claire, thank you for that. Yeah, there you go. Hey, Dwight from Old Saybrook. Frank swears by using chapstick as part of his mouth noise reduction repertoire. I did not know that. Well, I have huge, mad respect for Frank. Frank Gerard, he's the man. As is Mike Hathcote and Mallory DeWeese and Alex DeWeese. These are the faculty in the voiceover blueprint. And Frank is a guy who actually, I still remember my phone call. I had a phone call with him. Oh, I don't know. It was several years back about he was interested in coming into the program and the voiceover blueprint. He did. And he took that information and he went to work and he built a 6-figure income. He's doing great. And now on Thursdays, he does we have daily mentoring sessions, live mentoring sessions for our students. And on Thursdays, he has a gathering for the newer students who are in their first 6 months in the program. And so, man, if Frank says it, do it, because he knows what's going on. I have some self-produced commercial spots and character samples that I've created, but I don't have a demo yet. Should I wait until I have a full demo to start looking for work? Use what you have. The great thing is there's some great freelance websites that are free or very low cost, and you can use what you've got to get started. And then as you start earning money and want to do something, more professional grade, you can certainly upgrade to that, but you don't have to. You start off with what you got. Absolutely. All right. Glad we got that squared away. Let's see here. We've got Benjamin in Eastern Washington. Steve says, I use Audacity. Please briefly compare with Adobe Audition. Well, I've used Audacity probably. I tested it once for a few days just to get a sense of what it was about. Adobe Audition, Audacity is open source. So there's always going to be, bugs and things to deal with. But, there's advantages to having open source. People can add on to it or, it's a community of people who contribute. And there's tons of YouTube videos about Audacity. That's, I think that's the big benefit. Adobe Audition is totally pro. It's got so many pro features and it's just geared for power users, people who just do a lot of voiceover. So in terms of feature set specifically, I'd be the wrong guy to ask. And it's been years since I've used it. Sorry about that. The Bill DeWeese VO Tour, where do we get the t-shirts? I was thinking about doing some swag. Anybody interested in some swag? I was also thinking about doing a little contest just with you guys, where the winner would get like a 1-hour coaching session with me, because I do very few one-on-ones. All my time spent recording voiceover and working with the students in my voiceover blueprint. So I do very, very, very little in the way of one-on-one. And I don't do 60-minute sessions. I only do 30-minute sessions, and I ain't cheap. With, the idea of winning an hour where we would do a complete diagnostic, looking at your audio quality, your performance, and your marketing, and then working with you on those areas. And if you're just getting started and you don't have any of that yet, that's great. We start and get you started and figure out what to do from where you're at. But if that would be of interest, a contest where that would be the prize, let me know. I'm spitballing here. Swag, contests, who knows? Okay, AG in India, how are you doing? I know you've talked about AI before, but every version of the platform is getting better. It's hitting the low-hanging fruit. How would you suggest we keep up? Thank you for everything. Well, yeah, it's hitting low-hanging fruit. Whether it'll ever get beyond that, hard to say how far up the tree it will get in terms of using the fruit analogy. You keep up by being the best you can be. And what I mean by that, as a matter of fact, I was recording a job, was it yesterday or the day before? Because, I stream live to the students in my voiceover blueprint so they can watch me as I work. And as I was reading it, I thought, AI would never be able to understand the nuance of what's going on here, in terms of where to place emphasis, where to pause, where to use comparative, to speak in a way that compares this to that. AI doesn't get any of that. And at the end of the recording, I jokingly said, let's see AI do a better job than that. But yet I was serious because I get it. I understand what's going on. I understand the story. I understand the context. And as long as you just communicate, you're just you, and you're not afraid to express your point of view, your attitude, the way you feel, AI can never compete with that. It just can't. Hey, Mike, you have a great weekend as well there in Calgary. Benjamin, where's a good place to get copy for demos? I'll just go to YouTube. Every commercial ever created, I think, is on YouTube. Every TV commercial. Transcribe them. That's how you do it. Let's see here. Audiobook auditions frequently give 3-page scripts. Do you still only read a small amount? Well, first of all, I don't audition for audiobooks anymore. I haven't for a long time. So you can take what I say with a grain of salt. If somebody comes to me and says, hey, I want you to do this, and they're willing to pay me enough, then I'll do it. But back in the day, I think when I first got started, I would read the whole thing. And then I realized after a while, no, once I got busy and I had books in the queue and I was staying busy, I didn't feel like I needed to try so hard because I was booking, once I started auditioning, I started booking. So I started doing shorter and shorter auditions. All right, guys, I've got to wrap this thing up and get to work. I had a client send me a script last night, and it's a pretty long one, and they needed it by 9 a.m. Central this morning. I said, well, that's not going to work. It's 3 till right now. It's going to take me quite a while to do it, so I've got to get to work with that. But guys, thanks for being here. Let me just quickly see. I see a bunch of yeses. Yes to the swag. So in on swag, 1 hour coaching, and demo. Carl Lynn's trying to negotiate with me now. And demo. Oh, man, I don't know. I have to think about that one. Julie says yes to the swag. Swag contest sounds great. I will definitely need Bill DeWeese mugs. Morning Dew with Bill DeWeese. Are the Blueprint live streams available to watch after the fact? Yes, they are. They are available. Everything I do is available after the fact. And the VoiceOver Blueprint, all the mentoring sessions, all the live sessions. Yes. All right, guys. Hey, thanks again for being here. I appreciate it. I hope I got to all the questions. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.